What's up, guys? This is Joey with Krav Maga XD, your instructor down here in Costa Mesa. Today, it's Friday night. Welcome if you do show up, and I will call you out for being on Facebook on Friday night with me alone at 8:09 p.m. Got nothing going on. So, anyways, thanks for coming along today. We get asked questions all the time, and I'm trying to use this outlet to answer all those questions the best I can. Now, one of the questions we get asked a lot is, when do I fight and when do I avoid it at all cost? Because before you start training self-defense, you naturally don't want to fight anybody because you are very insecure about it. And then when you start training self-defense, you start to become a lot more confident and secure, and you start thinking, shit, dude, I can fight if I need to. And then you start seeing situations and you wonder, like, should I jump in? Like, should I try to get a fight? And the answer is most likely no, first off. But that is something that people are asking us all the time. So we get students from all over the place. They have different backgrounds. Some are school teachers. Some are cops. Some are just got out of the military or getting ready to go into the military. Some are stay-at-home parents. Some are contractors. Some people are just business owners, or some people don't even have jobs. We have the most wide variety of students at our school, but they all come to us because they want to learn something practical, that's efficient, that's also fun, something that they learn, a new skill set. And it's not some like hokey pokey type of thing. It's not some like ancient martial art where there's belts and there's bowing and there's a whole bunch of hi-yas. Nothing bad with that, nothing wrong with that. But it's just not what we do. And if that sounds like you, I was the same way. Because when I was looking for a martial art or some sort of a fighting system, I did not want to get punched in the face every day. So I didn't want to be in a ring. I didn't want to wear uniforms and belts and do odd things that sometimes you see in other martial arts. And I just wanted something that was going to teach me a skill set that was practical that I can actually use. I wanted to be Jason Bourne. Let's just be honest here. That's just what I wanted to do. But back to the point. We have two topics to cover about when to fight, when not to fight. Topic number one is going to be social aggression. Topic number two is going to be asocial violence. Okay, social aggression, what is that? Basically, we call this the monkey dance. This is any time that, let's say, for example, you're in a bar and you see someone yelling at somebody else and they're saying curse words and they go and they chest bump and they push each other and they're calling each other names. The idea is that they are doing social aggression. It's a social thing. They want to be the alpha. They want to show who's boss. They want to be dominant. That is what they're doing, okay? Those turn into fights, especially when there's two people trying to do social aggression against each other. That usually turns into like a brawling type of a fight. Avoid those if you can. That's a short answer, okay? You want to avoid those. I'm going to tell a story when we're done with this main point that's going to really clarify that and stick that home. Now, that's social aggression. Asocial violence. Asocial, meaning there's no socialism in there. You're not talking, you're not trying to be alpha, there's none of that going on. And it's violence. So what's happening is this is the person that you don't even see coming. This is what we're all scared of, by the way. Asocial violence. This is what keeps me up and what makes me want to train more Krav Maga and teach more Krav Maga. This is the person you don't even see coming. They're hidden. They're very, I guess you would call it, I don't know, under the radar. You don't even know that they're a violent person. They're the guy that's sitting in the corner with a hoodie on, just not minding his own business. And then when you leave the bar or when you walk by them, they pull a knife out and they start stabbing you, or they follow you home and you never even know it. And they bust through your door and they start to stab you, shoot you, beat you up, whatever it is. That is asocial violence. That is terrifying. We do not want to get in that situation. But when it comes to should we fight in that situation, the answer is probably yes. I would say if you don't fight, you probably will die in asocial violence type of a situation. Now, we don't want to get into that situation, but if you do, you have to bring it. So that is why we train. This is why we train how to break a knee, how to punch the throat, how to eye gouge, how to hit people in the back of the head, how to do all that crazy stuff, because that one situation where there's asocial violence and you have no other choice to defend yourself, that is why we train. Now, I'm going to talk about two stories. These are true stories, by the way. I've actually saw them happen. Story number one. Two guys are in the street, and actually I saw a live, not a live video, I apologize. I saw a video recording of a security camera of this. Two guys are in a street. They are like asocial, like bumping chest. They are smacking each other, calling each other names. So guy number one hits guy number two. Guy number two hits the ground. Pop. His head hits the curb. You see his teeth fall out. You see blood just splatter everywhere. And then the other guy comes up and starts beating him in the face. He then stands up and starts stomping on his chest and stomping on his face. Then he kicks the guy in the face. It's gnarly. It's like the bloodiest, brutalest fight I've seen that was real. And it was just crazy. Just blood everywhere. People were walking around, too, with their phones. Like, oh, my God, look at the fight. And that just pissed me off even more because no one was helping this poor dude that was getting his face beat in. Anyways, when that fight finally got broken up, the guy that was just being beat and beaten gets up, shakes it out. He's kind of stumbling a little bit. And then later on, apparently, he actually went to the hospital and was okay. Like, they fixed him up. He was fine. Obviously, he was pretty beat up. He's going to be sore for a couple of weeks probably. But he was survived. He was okay. So crazy, right? Total chaos. He ended up going home. He was ended up being okay. Story number 2. This is going to be a little bit less intense. So basically, it's in a bar setting. This is actually another security camera I saw. I was doing some case studies on this stuff. And two guys get up, and it was asocial violence again. So it was I apologize. It was social aggression, not asocial violence. And two guys get up, and they start doing the monkey dance. So they're in a bar. You see the security cameras behind them. They're doing the whole chest up thing and arms out, bumping each other. And then one guy, the guy that was closest, reaches over, pop, smacks the guy right in the chin. The dude falls down, hits his head on the bar stool, starts shaking on the ground. In about 4 or 5 seconds, he was dead. It was a bar fight. It was a social aggression bar fight. And the dude, one guy went home in a casket, and his family was there, and he's dead. The other guy, who is probably not a bad person, he's in jail. Right now, as we speak, he's in jail. I think it's 7 years for involuntary manslaughter is what he ended up getting, because it wasn't premeditated. It wasn't asocial violence. It was social aggression that went bad. And, well, he's in jail. So you have really, I think it's 3 different outcomes. Either you're going to be dead, you're going to be in jail, or you're going to be very severely hurt. So there's really no good outcome to fighting unless you have to fight to survive, which isn't going to be in that asocial aggression. I'm sorry, I'm all over the place. The social aggression that we talked about earlier. Guys, don't fight. The moral of the story is, if you can avoid it at all costs, be the bigger guy, walk away, or woman, walk away, de-escalate. Someone tries to get in the monkey dance with you, do whatever you can do to just not fight. Because if you accidentally hit him too hard because you're training and you're good at fighting now, and that guy falls and breaks his head, you go to jail. We don't need that, okay? If you are in a violent situation, asocial violence, and someone just kicks through your door, starts charging at you with bats or knives or whatever, you better fucking fight. And if you do fight, you got to mean business, and you got to put an end to that fight as soon as humanly possible. So use your training, break the knees, punch the throat, hit the back of the head, use whatever tools you have around you, and get the fight over with as soon as possible, and so you have the least amount of damage. Okay? So those are the main points to that. If you guys start seeing people like parties or restaurants or bars or out and whatever, and you start seeing conflict happen, I want you to start noticing it and start recognizing, oh, hey, that's asocial violence, or hey, that's social aggression. And you'll start to see the patterns, and you'll start to see the monkey dance, how the two people will start to chest bump each other or curse at each other or get bigger and do all that stuff to intimidate each other because they want to be the alpha. It's interesting to watch. I'm not saying that you want to see this happen all the time, but if it does, I want you to pay attention to it so you can start being basically someone that's studying fighting. But that's it for today, guys. If you have any questions, let us know. Don't forget to like and share this video if it was interesting or useful to you. And if you want to try out a class, go to kravclass.com. Check it out. You'll have some fun. And besides that, guys, have a great rest of your evening and take care. All right, guys, take care.